If you've ever wondered what God's presence feels like, it's still, it's like a calmness. It's like peace, like a river. Like if you've ever been, the best way you could describe it is if you've ever been kind of just admiring nature, that perfect peace that you feel, that perfect stillness, where you kind of just want to feel that feeling forever. That's probably one of my best interpretations of what God's presence is like and what it's like. I want to say what his mind is like, but I don't actually know for sure. But whenever I acknowledge God and I'm in my most stubborn moment, or if I'm just feeling like I'm just going through the motions, or I'm hormonal or anything, if I ever address God and I come to him in spirit and in truth, that is the feeling that I feel on the other side of just whatever turmoil that I feel. And I'm always just like, what do I do, God? What do I do? Because it's usually a moment where I'm overwhelmed, or I'm avoiding my problems, or I'm just trying to make sense of whatever issues that I have. And he's always just still, very still, calming presence, just like, Vanessa, relax. That's what it is always. I have to say, God doesn't ever rile me up, if that makes sense. It's never you should feel anger in this moment. If anger is what I'm feeling, it's always relax, because you're not thinking clearly. It's not a righteous anger. But it's so interesting because I actually have different feelings that I feel when, certain things that I feel when I'm going through different things. For instance, if I feel righteous anger, or if I feel any of God's attributes, any of the things that God feels. So we know that God is a jealous God. We know that we just know based off of a lot of things in the Bible, we know some of the things that he's feeling. We know where his mind was at in a lot of different instances. So it's so interesting, when you do go through some of those emotions and it doesn't feel like a fleshly type of anger, or it doesn't feel fleshly. It doesn't feel like I'm in my emotions. But when I come to God, it's just that base. It's just the calm. I can't explain it, and it takes me off guard. It kind of just breaks down my walls for a second, and I just feel to cry because I feel so seen in that moment. Because, if you ever gone through something and, you're having a panic attack, or an anxiety attack, or you're going through a moment of hysteria or anything, manic, and then someone comes to you who's coming to comfort you, and they don't shame you, they don't try to guilt trip you, they just come to you. I don't know if you've ever had this, but just they come to you and they're just everything's gonna be okay, and just oozing with love and sincerity. If you can just imagine that feeling, if that's ever happened to you times 10, that is what it's like to fall into the arms of God. And I have to say, I crave that all the time. And I crave it. I crave it all of the time, and I have to go against my flesh in order to feel it, because my flesh wants to seek other things for comfort, like TV, books, I don't know, anything that is just so fleshly. It's so human coded, that it's just like you turn away from something specifically that you know is better for you. Not saying that, reading or watching TV is inherently bad, but sometimes when you're running away from something, you're running away from your problems, you're running away from God, you kind of just feel the opposite when you run to those things. Like, sometimes it quiets your mind, but for me, I feel like that built up anxiety, like it's building because I'm not acknowledging. And then I come back to God, and He's just so still every time. I don't ever feel shame. I don't ever feel guilt. No matter how long it is that I was avoiding God, I always feel stillness. I always feel peace when I come back to Him. But if anyone was wondering, that's how it feels. So if you want to give your life to Jesus, that's what you're going to feel. You're going to feel peace. You're going to feel a lift of burdens. He carries those burdens for you because His burden is light. It's just something that I can't even put in words to explain. It's freeing.